Putting in the ductwork probably took the most time. Putting in the coils outside took less than 8 hours. They dug 4, I think they were 80-foot long trenches out there to put these in. And I left for work probably at 7:30 in the morning, and I left work early and came home about 4 o'clock to see how they were doing. They were all in, and it was already backfilled. They were gone.
When I first decided to build a home, I was very much interested in the geothermal heat pump system. My home builder wasn't using geothermal or any geothermal contractors. I recommended Sunteq. At first they weren't really thrilled about working with a different contractor, but after the experience they were very pleased, thought it was one of the best contractors that they had to work with.
Absolutely, it's worth the process of retrofit.
Yeah, one of the other reasons that we the heat pump was a good choice here was that we have a pond, which actually simplified for the cold side of the heat pump.
When we built the second building and wanted to heat it with our geothermal system that's in the house, Dan Woodring was engineered a way of taking the hot water pipes out 50 feet into another building underground and not losing the heat. And it's amazing how well that works. And so we're able to heat this other structure with our existing heat pump in the house.
So again, 5 years, we have completely paid for the geothermal system that we put into the house. It keeps it extremely comfortable all the time. We really don't have to pay much attention to adjusting our thermostat. We just set it to a comfortable range and it stays there. It's less drag on the system. With the super efficiency of the home, it just maintains its comfort all the time.
My particular system does work even when it gets particularly cold without having the auxiliary heat having to kick in. And as a result, the system is more energy efficient.
The thing I like best about it is quiet and it is clean and it is very dependable. It is in the basement and you have a tendency to forget about it.
The biggest thing is that for me is the efficiency and the maintenance I have very little to do with. And I've had no trouble with it. And this is my second heat pump that I've had, and they've all worked fine for me. So I have to say that it's a very good product, and I enjoy it. And you don't have everything sitting outside around your house and all that kind of stuff. Everything's inside, it's covered, and like I said, I think that makes the maintenance a lot finer to deal with.
It's been great. For the last 11 years, it's been excellent. Heating and cooling. In the summertime, it'll freeze you out if you want to go that low.
One feature about this particular heat pump system that I find, beneficial is the different zones. The fact that I can heat different parts of the building at different temperatures very easily. And the downstairs of this house is actually a separate apartment, and that had its own heating zone, and we can maintain that at a certain temperature. The bedroom area is on a separate zone, living room separate zone, and then the other building. So all of them can be heated to exactly the temperature that we want in that area.
Yeah, I'm here in my own system here at my house, and one of the other features here is a humidistat that was put in. And what this does is it puts a little bit of water into the system to make it a little bit more humid in the house during the winter months when it's really dry. It just makes it a little bit more comfortable. Very simple.
What I like about this system is I set the thermostat and I forget it. There's none of this up and down stuff to save money. Because I think with geothermal, what I've read is the best thing to do is just leave it at a certain temperature and don't mess with it. And so that's what I do. In my other home, I had oil heat, and I finally put in a programmable thermostat because I'd forget to turn it up or turn it down, or I don't do that here. I just leave it at whatever temperature I set it at.
probably the convenience of the heat pump. You know, it runs. It's like a regular furnace. You don't have to fuel it. You don't have to go cut firewood and all that, and that's an advantage.
Did you want to talk?
Well, I owned a house that had an oil-fired boiler, hot water boiler, and it required a lot of maintenance, and also the oil-fired boiler always sort of smelled like, you know, kerosene, and also it was dirty, you know. And it was like a filthy. It was polluting, you know, the immediate environment. Whereas this system, the geothermal system, is very, very clean, and I think much more environmentally friendly.
Or living on top of the ridge, sometimes we get extremes in temperature up here, and the winds are really what cause problems. And in the 5 years that I've had the system in, it's never failed me to keep the house good and warm.
Yeah, the nicest part of it is that you're warm and you don't even think about how. That you're just not aware of its existence, and it just feels perfectly natural. The heat feels very natural. It doesn't feel like you're being heated. It just feels like you're going into a naturally warm place.
I did not want oil. I didn't want to be, you know, dependent on foreign oil, and you can see what happened in the last year. So I've saved a lot of money in the last year just because of that. So the geothermal system really appealed to me because it's green, and I like that.
I don't have any emissions going into the environment from it. It's a closed system, so everything is recycled in the system, and the only thing I do is maybe add a little water. Yeah, I forgot to mention that, but that's immaterial there.
I spent many years teaching at Penn State and founding the Center for Sustainability at Penn State, and I've taught courses in green design and environmental health. And so I made a very concerted effort to build the best house using all the systems that I could possibly discover that would contribute to that environmental health. The heat pump was based on all the research that I've done and my own personal tastes, was absolutely in keeping with the overall design of the house, and the primary value that governed the choices that we made was how environmentally healthy it was. It wasn't about cost necessarily, although we certainly did factor that in, but the dominant governing value was a healthy environment for those of us who lived in the house and the surrounding woodland.
What I've found so far is I think that we are fairly close to the technology and the cost to put in solar and wind energy and zero my entire electrical bill in this home. My goal is to start selling energy back to the grid.